to talk about authenticity. What's more important with your staff? For them to love you, believe in you, or respect you?
To respect me.
Really?
That's what I strive for or want.
If you have to gain their loyalty, love, and respect, and you're trying to build a family, you're not going to build a team of A players.
Right. Yeah.
Because A players, their highest core value is not love. And it's not being liked. Do you know what their number one core value is?
Dignity?
Producing a result.
Oh, yeah.
An A player puts a result above everything. And that's the difference in a company. There's a lot of companies that are like, oh, we're a family.
Right.
And I'm like, I get it. You want people to feel seen and recognized and loved.
Yeah.
Weak people require lots of validation.
What's up, Kris Krohn here. I am pausing my own podcast to make sure that you have my cell phone number. Because as you're listening and thinking to yourself, man, I wish I could text Kris and ask him a real estate question or a business question, a marriage question, a health question, I got news for you. The phone number is right here. It's 385-217-3477. Save this in your phone and literally start texting me right now. Just drop your name and say, hey, Kris, it's whoever you are, and ask me a simple question. Let's go.
A players are not weak. They don't need validation. They want to be recognized after they won. They don't want to be motivated to win. An A player needs no motivation. And an A player you can say yes to and you can say no to, and you don't have to do the inauthentic dance party of, well, maybe, kind of, we're looking at it. It's just like, no.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. If you're an A player, and I know you are, and they're an A player, they're already coming in saying, you do you, I do me, you'll show up, I'll show up. You don't need motivation, I don't need motivation. You're gonna do your best to produce the result. I'm gonna do the best for the result, and I can take bad news.
Yeah.
I can take yeses, I can take nos, I need strong leadership. They want environmental respect. And it doesn't have to really be earned. It's assumed amongst A players. I always say we're a team first and a family second. Because I want it to be a family of A players.
I like that.
Right?
I like that a lot.
If you reverse that order, this is where I think you're having a hard time saying no.
Yeah.
So they bring this idea up and they're like, hey, we were kind of thinking we want to do this thing.
Yeah.
You can't crush an A player's dreams by giving them a no answer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you what, when you have an A player and they come to you and they make a request and they show you the ROI of the request and they show you how it's going to level up the organization, how do you want to respond?
Now I have data points. Now I can...
And you want to say yes.
Yeah.
Because they've thought through the entire thing.
Yeah.
And all your yes will do is empower them to win.
Mm-hmm.
They need to be empowered, not coddled. So this need for people pleasing crushed me for the first 5 years that I was in business because I was worried about everyone's feelings and I wanted to be liked.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that my choices would reflect a win. And I was like, if I win, they'll like me more.
Yeah.
I had to stop requiring outside validation to be good with me. There's a moment when we really rise up to the full measure of our capacity. We've got such a powerful relationship with us that we trust ourselves to listen to the input of others. And then if time comes to lead. Yeah. And a leader doesn't speak in adjectives. A leader is decisive. And a leader can give a yes and a no. Here's my mantra.
That's right.
Some people like me.
Some people don't.
And that's okay because I like me. Some people love me.
And some people hate me.
And that's okay because I
love me.
I love me.
Yeah.
I grew up with a woman that was like a religious counselor to me. She was my seminary teacher for 4 years when I was in high school, junior high. She taught me the kind of early morning church, Monday through Friday, for a couple of those 4 years. Yeah. And I graduated, as from high school, and I graduated with this whole seminary background. And I come to really love this woman and respect her. I viewed her as my very first religious mentor because she would take extra time with me. And she would see the greatness in me and she'd pour into me. And she'd just take time. And I knew that she cared about me because she took time. Fast forward a few years. I had gone overseas for 2 years to serve a Christian mission. Came back, went to college. A year later, I was married to my wife. And 5 years after that, I'm probably now 26 years old. And I get a phone call from my seminary teacher, Linda. And she says, Kris, I'm going through the most 30-year devastating divorce. Husband cheated on me so many times. We're getting a divorce. I don't know what to do, but I think I'm coming to Utah. And my wife and I said, we will take you in, come be a part of our family, and let's connect. She moved to Utah. We helped her find a place, and we would start spending all this time together, Sunday afternoons, weekdays, and I felt so happy that I could do something for someone that had been so special to me. A year later, she met a young man, and they became romantically involved with each other, and they ended up getting married. That story ended very badly. But before it did, her new husband worked for me. He was a realtor. And he would make sometimes $10,000 in a month, and some months nothing. Realty work is feast and famine. But overall, for a young man, he's making good money.
Yeah.
When he marries my seminary teacher, who is now older in age and has a lot of financial fear, she saw his income, and every time he had a bad month, it started reflecting on me. Like I was responsible for this.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out. And their relationship got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah.
And their financials were having ups and downs until it ended really poorly. But before it did, she wrote me a letter. And in this letter, she shared with me how disappointed she was in me. She shared that I hadn't shown up the right way for her. She accused me of being inauthentic, double dealing, two-faced, a fallen prophet, a number of, for me, as a pleaser, a world-class pleaser.
Crushing.
The most crushing, hurtful things a person could say.
It's crushing.
I was devastated. And I read the letter every day for 6 months. And all my wife and I talked about was the letter. And I couldn't get over it. I was hurt so bad because this is the person I had looked up to. I saw as a spiritual leader, as a guidepost, and all she saw was the flaws in me, said quite horribly, narcissist, et cetera, and I didn't know what this word authenticity meant. After 6 months, I told my wife, I said, we got to do something because I'm in a downward spiral.
And
it's
this is eating up.
This is horrible.
Yeah.
It's killing me. And I found my very first coach. This coach.
How old are you, by the way, at this
27.
point? 27, okay.
This coach, it came from a chiropractic session, and he was so much more than a chiropractor. And he starts working on me, and he looks at me, he says, you're not very authentic, are you? I was like, what do you mean? I'm honest. He's like, no, that's not what that word means. And it started this deep dive conversation where I learned that authenticity is where I would people please. I would chameleon myself.
To the different groups.
I would alter myself in front of people to be liked. This is exactly what my seminary teacher saw. She saw a fraud and a phony liar that was willing to morph himself for the approval of others. I was in their business. I was monitoring their thoughts and feedback on me. I was obsessed with what people thought about me. So I probably was a narcissist. Everything she said, there was truth to all of it. She gave me a gift that hurt so bad that an inauthentic person couldn't receive it. And coach, in session at a time, I started peeling off the layers and figuring out who am I? Not who am I trying to portray? Not put my best foot forward, put my ugliest foot forward, put the real foot forward. And I stopped caring what other people thought. And it took years, by the way. Years
I'm definitely trying.
of stripping away until one day I realized the best leaders are true to themselves. I can't offend you. It's not my job to monitor your feelings. I do at times choose to be tactful. Out of a strategy called care, compassion, empathy, but I will never do it at the expense of correct leadership. Because I will not weaken myself for another. I have to be empowered and I have to be true to me, which allows me to follow my most important rule, which is to be able to speak maliciously without malice. Which means, why are you wearing that fat suit? What happened to you? It's not said from, I'm a jerk and insensitive. It's like, I get there's no one else in your life that has dared ever say this to you, and I care about you so much that I'll ask you about your fat suit. And why are you wearing that? And what are you missing in your life? And what do you need? And what aren't you getting? And then they fall apart. It was direct. It was candid. But my heart had no malice in it. It was actually said out of care. When the right thing is to say no. You can connect. They can feel that you care, and in a space of caring, you can say no. Well, why? I actually don't have time for the answer today, but we can talk about that next week in our one-on-one. But for right now, I want you to put that on hold.
Yeah.
No justification. Or else what are they going to learn? Oh, he has to justify everything he says. That's not what a good leader does. You don't have time at times for the reason.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to command the level of trust and respect where they get to say, whether I agree or not, I accept your answer. And I'm going to move forward. Thank you.